Handgun slits does sound pretty smooth, especially against his men-at-arms, considering how much damage they mitigate otherwise. Let's see what approach he wants to take. It's once again what's quickly becoming an infamous matchup. HRE versus Chinese. Game 2 between VortiX and MarineLorD.
Here we go. And this time we see the other way that this map can spawn. So we don't have these large wood lines towards the front of the bases. Instead, we have a really, really large wood line towards the back.
Yeah, and you were saying like you kind of prefer this generation for the HRE. The condition is usually you don't get the gold under your Archon Chapels, so you have to push more people under the gold line, which is what's happened here. You can see he's got kind of a off to the side, out of range spawn for his gold.
Yeah, it looks like VortiX right now is looking for his deep sea fish, just not quite able to find it right now with his scout. Okay, now he has decided where he wants to place his dog. Once again goes for the, well, I say once again, but this is the brother right now. So VortiX is now also going for his barracks play.
Yeah, opportunity to get early raiding in. Also, you know where the eco's going to be condensed. It is on the backside of the base, so maybe a little bit harder to get that maximum impact insta-raid that we saw in the previous series, but it's still a threat that's going to force a reaction. In fact, if you check back on that Chinese wood line, I'm pretty sure you could get in on those villages without being in TC range.
While we're still in the early phases of the game here, big shout out to Holy Roman States of America gifting 20 subs to the community.
Thank you for slamming America on the Holy Roman Empire there. We appreciate you. Much love. Keep the support coming. If people are watching this on the YouTube side, be sure to catch these games live. If you didn't catch these games already, be sure to check them out on the YouTube side.
All right, we see the classic villager build here, or village build, not villager build here for the Chinese.
Such a pain in the ass. Like, can we just agree to like water dunk whoever decided to call them villagers with villagers?
Oh, Prelate actually a little bit out of position here, boosting the food villagers. Not sure if that's intended. Actually, looks like it's intended. Does he have 8 villagers there on food?
4 maybe? 5? It looks like 4 or 5.
And he's not getting the full. I think it's 6, 7. Okay.
Okay, so wow. Okay, yeah, they're hiding in the sheep really well there. Concerningly.
Yeah, now he has the full 8, so now he's getting the full value out of that Prelate.
That's fine. So Spearmen are going to make their way out. A different approach, actually. Maybe considering trying to torch down the dogs?
I mean, we did see Spearmen last game. It's just that they had an easier time getting towards the woodline. Looks like MarineLorD also opening up with the barracks and making his own spears.
Now, well, the last game we saw the Spearmen just focus on the land eco, but it seems like maybe VortiX is considering just going after the docks in this game.
Yeah, I'm confused right now because VortiX has not gone out to gold at all. He's sitting at 0 gold and he needs 200 for his age up. Like the HRE, they spawn with a Prelate, but they start with 0 gold. So this is okay. Now he finally chooses to go out to gold because he already has like the food that he needs to age up for like a long time.
Yeah, but this means he can afford additional spears. And I guess his logic is if I keep doing this, MarineLorD has to keep doing it. You know, maybe I could threaten on the dock. It looks like for the moment, though, he's choosing to fully back up.
Yeah, not sure if he's gonna just regroup and then try to go for the dock. Actually, looks like he's going back. Maybe wants to try and get some surprise hits on that scout that's harassing his own dock. But no, he's just going back to his gold. He doesn't want to give MarineLorD an opening to harass his gold.
Yeah, I think the difference here is, like, you know, if a Chinese player gets blocked off his gold, he can kind of tax his way in some way up to that tech up. Whereas if VortiX gets blocked off gold through a massive spearman, he's just stuck.
Yeah. It's a big spearman investment for both of these players right now.
Good start to the clash coming out from VortiX, though. MarineLorD wasn't insta to react, so heavy damage on one of the spears.
But he is massing more, and he is China, so with the Imperial official on that barracks, he is going to be able to pump out significantly more spears.
And from MarineLorD's perspective, holding this in Dark Age is actually better for him long term, right? Because what it is guaranteeing is that VortiX doesn't get the Feudal Age gathering buff on his entire economy. He only gets on 8 villages.
There's the Archon Chapel now, though. Wait,
it's a MarineLorD build again.
Huh?
VortiX,
yeah,
he's
but
done
he's
this
building
before.
it in. He's building it in a way that you wouldn't usually build an Archon. So
Okay, hear me out.
not 100% sure. Maybe just to hide it for a little time.
You're so ashamed of your
longer.
Minework Palace, you have to hide it. I mean, he's done it this exact way before. Like, it is the best way of ensuring it doesn't get seen.
Knows.
But it's Tang Dynasty Chinese. There is no way that he doesn't see that.
Yeah, that scout saw that from like a mile away.
Problematic as well, because his timing, I think that's enough spearmen to potentially burn the dock before you'd get a defensive archer ship out. At least from one of the docks, anyway.
Yeah, with 8 spears, that might go down quite fast. Actually, no, man, that was MarineLorD aging up.
Yeah, no. Chinese age up. That's going to be a hard
Okay, he's pulling the spears, though. Yeah, he's pulling the spears, and with that, he should be able to defend that.
It's the tech up, though. Like, if he takes the fight now, he loses his spear mass, and MarineLorD knows it.
Yeah. I mean, he can just dive in and out every now and then just to delay.
I don't know if you can delay enough, though. Like, the extra health, he doesn't even necessarily need to defend against these spears. He could just commit to the burn. So I think VortiX is taking the safe bet, and instead he's just producing an archer ship out of the other dock. He's forfeiting this one.
Yeah, okay, that one does go down, so that's huge value for MarineLorD right now. He's also banking up quite a lot of resources right now. All right, now he's invested it. Now he's invested it into his fishing military. Well, not fishing military, but like his water military. Also goes for a 3rd dock, so that's going to be quite a lot of production for him right now. And not sure if VortiX has gotten the value out of his mine work that he hoped for, because I'm not sure. Does he have any upgrades? He doesn't have any upgrades yet.
Doesn't look like marching drills. That charge is not quick enough. Maybe now. They go a little bit quicker. No, we would have sent it.
Positioning of the mine work still confuses me greatly. Like, did he think that he built the mine work first, deleted it, and tried to go for the Archon, but still went for the mine work instead?
Maybe it's like, it's one of those things, like, if someone glimpses your base, they maybe don't, like, because if they see it in pre-construct, like, we know the shapes, but if you're just roughly glimpsing it, there's an off chance that someone just doesn't register. Especially when you're building a landmark that nobody builds, right? It's kind of like, you just see a landmark's being built and you kind of glimpse away. Even at the highest level that can occur, especially if you're distracted.
The issue with that right now is that MarineLorD actually has better wood income with China than HRE in the early game.
And consider the wood burn there
difficult.
as well. It's also the fact, like, now VortiX has built 2 additional docks, right? Because he lost one, so he had to replace one and then build an extra. Now he now has to afford production out of them consistently. He's also still only playing 1 TC, 1 Prelate, and he's not going for a fast castle build. Meanwhile, MarineLorD
going for the fully closed wall.
Yeah, so he can just roll on the seaside now, right? Like, it's very hard for VortiX to get in. VortiX is also less likely to make a villager pull when you go mine work, right? Because you can't easily afford villagers idling at this point in the game.
Yeah, so far this is looking very convincing here from MarineLorD. Also has way more fishing ship. Well, not way more, but like a significant amount more. Looking at the food income that also displays there.
No sneaky chop through. Instead, we'll take the more obvious approach.
Yeah, and archers, or rather Zhugenua, are already being produced. And
laugh in Chinese. We build range units. Have you tried it?
Yeah, he's also supervising that one, so the Zhugenua are going to get produced really, really fast, like 7 seconds per Zhugenua.
And you can't even burn through just one villager. Perfectly optimized by MarineLorD. Didn't just waste extra eco running away. Because remember, he hasn't got wheelbarrows, so if he has to pull 2 or 3 villagers, that's going to hit his bottom line elsewhere.
And here we see the villager that's going to be tasked with the chop through. Don't think that's going to happen if MarineLorD realizes. With the range units, he could be just chopping, or, well, not chopping, but like killing that villager from afar. Actually, looks like he's parking his Zhugenua outside of his base, so that chop through is very unlikely to happen.
It's problematic as well, because this is a very different game to where we've seen the chop threes work. Those games, the opponent is distracted, right? Waterside is being pressured. Now, you're going to see VortiX try and make a maneuver, but remember, MarineLorD, we talked about his eco being better. He should be able to have more ships to defend with than VortiX can aggress with.
Yeah, I feel like a chop through, actually, he distracted him well enough to where the chop through might happen. But he doesn't have anything to get into the base. Like, there's no military advantage that he can abuse to get damage in on that side. And now he's actually losing his mass to the Zhugenua and Spearman composition there.
He does at least snipe out the scout. Now, this can be very important because you may notice VortiX is adding a new layer to the cake. Men-at-Arms are now being produced. Without that scouting vision, MarineLorD could get caught off guard by this. For the time being, MarineLord's not going to allow the chop through.
Yeah, he knows that the chop through has been planned. Sends the Zhugenua in there and just gonna re-wall right behind that. Could even go for like additional walls that connect to the wood line just to make chopping through even harder.
Why is the villager on that? You're free now, villager. You're no longer part of the Chinese empire. Go start your own empire. Taiwan it up or something. I don't. I guess it ensures that VortiX isn't going to go back in for the chopper tool. Now he's just got an idle villager stuck in no man's land without wheelbarrow.
Yeah, that one's gonna be taking a while to get back. But what's gonna be happening right now? So we see that VortiX is trying to mass up on water right now as well. He's adding tons of demo ships again. I say again, but like it's so similar to the style that these two brothers play. So he's gonna be adding his demo ships, trying to, well, get rid of that huge mass of war chunks. I mean, there's still like just a couple of normal chunks in there, so it's gonna be tough to get those connections in.
Like, they're very good at doing this, though. Like, I've seen it time and time again, the split and the way they approach the fight. If he can hold the main clump hostage with demos, it could give him an initial lead that lets him push the advantage. And VortiX needs to. Flash in. Notice he tries to get as close as possible to force the retreat, so they'll always stay in range. Demos are wiggling around the side, though. The counter demo coming in is going to push back. Great move by MarineLorD to reset the fight.
It was a sneaky demo. Only saw that coming once it left that big mass from the other ships, and that's what makes demos so difficult, right? Like, they're just small, they're just hiding in between all of those other ships.
They just wiggle out, surprise you. Especially when you come from north side. Like, when you come from north side, remember, camera angles. Natural camera angles means it should be easier for MarineLorD to instantly spot demos compared to the other side because of all the masts. Yeah. Flash in. There's so many demos layered in here. One's going to sneak through. Boom on the side. Heavy hit there. He loses half the demo fleet, but so many to follow through with. Oh. VortiX comes over the top. MarineLorD, he needs to reset fast. He has got the triple dock, so he can rebuild the fleet. But in the meantime, the sacrifice is going to be his economy.
Even more demo connections coming in.
There's more.
This is looking so nice for VortiX right now, and he kills a lot of fishing. Look at that. Worker kills. 15 worker kills.
That's where the demos went. They immediately plowed into the economy. And sure, you might survive this heavy damage into VortiX's fleet. Maybe you can snipe them out, reset, but the damage is already done in water. At home, VortiX just gets to get his fishing for free, and land raids are limited for the Chinese at this phase of the game. Only 4 spears and 4 Chuge Nu to his name.
Behind all of this, though, MarineLorD is still... Wait. Never mind, now he's no longer leading in the economy count. For quite a while, he was still leading. Yeah, he was still leading in the economy count. Yeah, but not anymore. Now it's all even Stevens. Anyone's game. Well, not really anyone's game, since VortiX did kind of win water here, and that's usually...
how that works. Although we've seen miraculous comebacks from land only before, it's going to be a tough one if MarineLorD wants to achieve it. Repair crew is out to try and keep the ships alive, but he's just outnumbered here. He's at least going to idle some eco on land. And we always have to remember, the HRE, they haven't got that glorious buff via Anarchan still, so eco-wise, the difference isn't as ridiculous as it normally would be, looking at these two civs and that count.
Yeah, and right now VortiX is getting some of that Spanish Holy Island treatment here, with some of these raids happening on the sides, but is going to convincingly take water here. And that means that he's going to be able to go for that water trading. And MarineLorD knows that there's no way for him to come back, and he calls it right there.
He heard the word trading, and he had enough. GG gets called. 1-1 stands the score. Means we've at least got 2 more games between these Leviathans.
Oh, man. That was a different approach. Well, it was the same strategy, but with a different approach here from VortiX compared to what we saw from Lucifer earlier. The mine work didn't make a ton of sense. I don't think it was really used early enough to really warrant it there.
Okay, so here's there's a mind game element, and this is not just a cheap commentator cop out. I've talked to players, some of them think on this level. Big shout out to Misto, one of the #1 people for doing exactly this. There's a mind games level to these type of plays, right? Mind game for the mind work. In that once you build it, your opponent has to respond. So instead of just investing all into Navy and dominating there, he's probably going to invest more into walling himself up early like we saw. He's probably going to invest more into defensive forces ahead of any aggression. I think that there's maybe an element there. Outside the mind game element, sure. I don't really think it made much there. If we look back at this game, it is quite simply VortiX just being absolutely godly with his composition on water and understanding how to win the game off of one decisive fight, which is what has made him and his brother the #1, #2 on Holy Island. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they have the highest win rate of any player so far in this tournament.